We'll start with direct hires, and this is in reference to White SW item E0E-031. The navigation to the direct hire rehire component is workforce administration, hire record review, and direct hire rehire. For this demo, I've staged a direct hire or a managed hire. So I'm going to click on the managed hire rehire component instead of direct hire. Now, anyone you enter through direct hire is accessible through the managed hires rehire component. So I've staged someone for this demo yesterday, so I'm going to choose a begin date that reflects yesterday's date. Click refresh. And you'll see two rows. I'm going to select a direct hire CRT, the person with the last name of direct hire CRT. Now, in addition to converting the hire rehire pages to fluid, another enhancement we made for Release 3 is displaying the pages in an activity guide format. The advantage of an activity guide is that it acts as sort of a dashboard that combines all the pages that are needed to hire a person in one navigation collection. So instead of having to bounce around to different parts of the page that enter hire data, and there are many pages that you have to go to, those pages are now just a click or two away within the activity guide. So the first thing you'll notice in this activity guide is the left navigation. All the pages that are pertinent to a new hire can be found in this left navigation. There's also an indicator that shows which pages you visited. This can be helpful when you can complete a direct hire process in one session and you have to save or return at a later time. It's sort of a visual indicator that allows you to pick up where you left off. To navigate to different pages, you can click on the page directly in the activity guide left navigation. You see here these various menu items. You can click on them, and that'll take you directly to the relative page. Or you can click the next button, and as we go to the next page, then a previous button will pop up, which provides another way to navigate within this activity guide. So as you can see, there are many data elements spread out over numerous pages that are needed to hire a person. There's personal data, job data, contract data, and if I expand the profile data section, you'll see all these person profile content sections that are part of a new hire process. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip over all of these pages and focus on just the person data page. Now, after you're satisfied that all the necessary data to hire a person has been entered, now you have to validate the data. Again, this ensures that all the designated validation edits that you've configured on the validation configuration page are met before the data can be loaded to the HCM side. Again, trying to minimize the garbage in. And for anyone on the call, if there's a specific page you want me to jump to, please just let me know. So let's assume that all the data for a hire was in. I'm going to jump to the validate data section, our page. And you notice once I jump to that page, the visited box turns green. Our visited ready to button turns green. Now I'm going to click the validate button. And again, once I click this button, it's gonna invoke all the edits that I have configured for CSEM and apply those edits to the data that was entered for this hire. Now, in this case, this particular direct hire failed the age requirement edit, as I mentioned before. And that is indicated in the error information section. For each error that's displayed, there will also be a corresponding link that's displayed, and when selected, it'll transfer you to the page containing the error. So when I click on this error location link, it's going to take me to the page that contains the field for me to correct. Since this person is about 5 days old, I'm going to change it to satisfy that edit, which is 17 years old or older. So I changed the birth date, click save, and then before I go to validate again, one thing I do want to point out is that you can't, the system requires you to validate the data and correct it, or you can manually load that person to the higher side or to the ATM side. So until all validation errors are corrected, that load button is not available. It's inactivated. So since I corrected the errors that failed the validation, I'm going to go back to the validate data page, click validate, click the validate button again. And in this case, there are no more errors. Now, when I go to load data, you'll see the load button active, at which time you can now load this person manually. Just to reiterate, the data can't be loaded to the ATM side until all validation errors are resolved. And then once all the errors have been resolved, the load button becomes active. So essentially, there's a two-step process with any kind of hire, including direct hire or manual hires, as well as interface hire. Aside from the data entry, you will always have to validate, then load. So that's just for manual or direct hires.